Hey everyone, this is an update video for you. I like doing this so much more than trying to type out a long email, and hopefully you like maybe just listening to this better than reading through a long email. I wanted to update you on a change that I'm making for this summer. I guess this is an experiment for us, something that we haven't done before, but I am actually have been playing around with this idea for a little while. And kind of wrestling back and forth the pros and cons of canceling our Wednesday night rehearsals for 12 weeks over the summer. As of late, I have definitely picked up on some tiredness, some people being very worn out from the effort that it takes to do not only worship ministry, but many ministries that I know so many of you are involved in. And that's just evident when people are walking into rehearsal. Sometimes you can just really tell when you're dragging, or when you're in a bad mood, or when you're just tired from keeping up with the pace of life. And that's something that's really important to me to keep in check, because as it is for my life, I want for your life to be able to find a rhythm and a pace where you're not just feeling like you're running ragged. And if this is maybe a way that I can help make that happen, I think we're just going to try it. And something else that contributes to that is that we're becoming a little bit more short-handed in the areas of some of our musicians and in some of our technological areas, and we're constantly trying to recruit people for those roles. But we in this season right now are short a couple people that really puts extra pressure and extra tension on everybody else. And so that's one of those things that's a contributing factor, and I really don't want to see anyone encounter any burnout. So that's another reason why I'm choosing to help maybe alleviate some of that pressure and some of that time. I also think this is an experiment in matching maybe the rhythm of our Connect season. Worship ministry, we have some heavier seasons. We do a little bit extra during Christmas because we're learning all Christmas music and adapting to that, or during the Easter season as we're trying to gear up for some extra worship elements during services in the series leading up to that, or new songs that we bring out in a larger volume during that season of the year. But I also, even in all of that, I just believe that rest is a biblical thing too, as I know all of you would agree. And so we're just thinking through that lens and looking at all the rest of the ministries that church have seasons that ebb and flow and change, and most of the time for us it's pretty steady. We're going to have a midweek rehearsal, we're going to do Sunday morning, we're going to have a midweek rehearsal and do Sunday morning. And yes, we have had some seasons where we have had no rehearsals for a longer stretch, but nothing like this length. And so we're gonna give it a shot, and we're gonna try giving ourselves this a little bit of sabbatical from the rehearsals on Wednesday nights. And so I know there's probably a big question as far as so how are we going to be ready for Sunday mornings, and how are we still going to be able to give our very best? And that's going to be a couple of things. I'll give you a couple of ideas and a couple thoughts to be working with. And one of those is just, I trust that all of you will be prepared for Sunday morning, to be diligent in your own practice time. I am constantly blown away by the people that God has brought to be part of this team, and I'm super excited to be able to work with each and every one of you every single week and every time you're on the schedule. And so I trust you guys. I really do trust you guys to help make worship a great thing every single week. But also, we are going to work on scheduling and sending your PCO invites 10 days in advance of the Sunday you're participating, instead of just the week ahead of time. So when you get your invitation to the Planning Center service, it will be on the Wednesday for the following Sunday 10 days away. That way, you'll be able to get on, look at the songs, be working on that music for a week and a half instead of just that week right before the Sunday, as we have been doing. We'll also be working on some other options. This one is a harder thing to promise, but some ideas that I'm working on. If we're working on a brand new song, I'm going to work on making sure that click track is up and ready and available to listen to on Planning Center, so that as you're working 10 days in advance, you'll be able to listen to those cues, figure those things out. This is going to be a different workflow for me to try to figure out how all of that fits into my routine, my work week, and establishing that with Cindy too, as she helps prepare all of the music and the road maps, and making sure we have all of that ready. So we'll be working on figuring out how to coordinate that as well. There may be the possibility, if there are other things that need to happen, that you might just get more video updates from me, just kind of like this, to maybe help explain something. And that might be to the whole worship team. Sometimes it might just be a video message just to the band that week, to let them know what's going on, how things are going to work. So we'll kind of play with that, see how that works for us this summer, because I do want to be in communication with you as much as possible. And one thing that I honestly have always been really hesitant to do, just because things do change based on sermon series or personnel, but we may try to get this done, would be to schedule all 12 weeks of the song services written out and put in front of you, so that even as you look at the quarterly schedule, you could look ahead to whatever the first week of August is going to be, and you know that you're on the set that week, and so that you can restart becoming familiar with those songs, looking at that, finding out if any of those songs are new, and be able to even have several weeks worth of time to be listening to them or working on them. We're trying to figure out how to make that work, and even if we do that, there will have to be some level of grace, because sometimes we'll be planning sermons and series, and it just comes out, oh man, this song would be a perfect song for this message, and so we have to switch things around, and so there'll have to be some grace and some leeway as part of that project. But that could be a really helpful tool for many as well. So here's my big asks through all of this. Like I said, this is an experiment, but it's an experiment with a purpose. It's not trying to see if we can get away from rehearsals altogether. I don't want to do that. I don't think that's healthy for us, but it's for this season. So during this season, as I expect you to work hard in some things, I'm just really asking that you would rest well. Don't fill your time on Wednesday nights with so much other stuff that it's just still draining you. And it'll be even more of a problem when September comes around. But find times to really just take a break if you can. Don't put yourself in a position just to continually be run ragged. Also, with that, there are men's and women's groups during the summer, which I do encourage you to be a part of. That's one of those things that I want to make sure that you get time to feed your soul and feed just your discipleship, and to be able to grow both in the knowledge of God's Word, but also in building relationships with people around you. I know that being part of the worship team, especially during a Sunday morning time frame, is a really hard time to spend a lot of time talking to somebody or outside of whatever realm you're working in. And so we want us to continue to be a group of people that is not just isolated as a worship ministry team, but also as a part of the body as a whole. And you're going to meet people through men's groups and through the ladies' studies. And so I encourage you to be a part of one of those things this summer as well. Be ready to come back. Be ready to come back in September strong. That's kind of the point of this, to give you this time, this break to breathe, so that we can come back and continue to sharpen one another, continue to work through new music, continue to create atmospheres of worship for the people in the congregation, and So I'm just asking that just have that in your mind. Be ready that as we re-engage our Wednesday rehearsals in September, that you will be able to put yourself in a mindset that truly is helpful to the rest of the team, honoring to God, and energetic and helpful just to the overall ministry. And then kind of this last thing, one of the things that has contributed to this whole video is just that be in prayer for more musicians and more technical help. God has really blessed us with all of you, and I am so grateful for every single one of you and for your role on the team. But we also do have a very evident need for some very specific roles. It's definitely not a secret to anybody that we could use a drummer real bad. We could use another drummer. I'm so grateful for the way that God has continued to provide for us, giving us options and ways that we can work out making a complete team every single week. But we could really use a drummer. We could use another electric guitar player or 2 electric guitar players. We could use another keyboard player or 2 more keyboard players. And that's just kind of like the core instruments, you know. Oh, and also the bass guitar. Sorry, not trying to leave any of you guys out. But like, then there's the world of possibilities beyond that. That people can come to the surface who may play a saxophone, who may, I don't know, play a mean bagpipe solo. But those people are out there too. And as we work toward that end, we're just praying that God would bring us people to help us create an amazing and energetic atmospheres of worship for our church family. So be praying about that. Be praying earnestly about that, as well as technical roles. Our audio guys do a great job, but I know that schedules are tight for the few of them that we have, and so we would love to be able to add another 1 or another 2 volunteers to that role that would really create so much space in scheduling and in several other areas as well. I'll leave you with this. I really do love you guys. Being away for an 8-day vacation, even just this last week, I missed Sunday morning. I missed seeing all of your faces. I missed being able to be a part of worship, and I'm glad to be back. Vacations are great, but I also just am reminded again of how faithful God is and how amazing it is to serve in a church, a place like this, with all of you fine people. So I love you so much. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me or to Cindy. We can talk about it. If you have any ideas, just keep those to yourself. I'm just kidding. But seriously, just reach out and let us know your thoughts if you have any concerns. I'm just really hoping this could be a good thing to really strengthen our ministry by giving us a break. All right, talk to you guys later. Thanks.